judgment of the Federal High Court of Nigeria, Oka Judicial Division, delivered by Honorable Justice H.A. Ngajiwa on the bloody invasion of my ancestral home by the operatives of the Nigerian Police, the State Security Services, the Nigerian Army, and one chukwuka oforegbu, aka Ijele Speaks. On the 6th day of June 2021, the world was awoken with the shocking news of the second unprovoked bloody invasion of my ancestral home in Omunakwa Ifeanyi Ejiofor local government area of Anambra State by the operatives of the state of Nigerian Police Force, the DSS, the Nigerian Army, and one chukwuka oforegbu, aka Ijele Speaks, during which murderous invasion my personal assistant, late Mr. Samuel Okoro, was gruesomely murdered, as you can see in the clip. It is pertinent to note that the dastardly act was clearly captured by the CCTV camera within and around my compound, and the published footage speaks for itself. The murderous invaders did not stop at the lethal murder of my PA. They also abducted my elder brother, Mr. Ifeanyi Ejiofor, during this invasion, and 3 of my domestic staff, namely Felix Okonkwo, my driver, Okafor Lawrence Ugochukwu, my gardener, and Ike Nashibike, my steward. These direct descendants of Satan thereafter dragged and dumped the lifeless body of my murdered PA inside the boot of my Toyota Camry car, which they made away with upon the conclusion of their evil assignment mission in my house. The corpse of my late PA was subsequently set ablaze inside my Toyota car immediately after Okachaflin Station in Ineni town, Anambra State, an actual government area of Anambra State. This was shortly after they had pushed out my elder brother, Mr. Ifeanyi Ejiofor, from their car. The SSS, all the head of security agents involved to formally request for thorough investigation of the dastardly act, which was ostensibly targeted at terminating my life, but for sheer act of providence. But unfortunately, despite receiving the aforesaid letters of complaint, the head of the Nigerian Police Force, the DSS, and the Nigerian Army, whose personnel perpetrated this heinous crime, never investigated the bloody that my abducted domestic staff are being detained at the facility of the DSS National Headquarters here, Abuja, till date. Armed with this information, I demanded for their immediate and unconditional release, which did not stop at writing to the Director General of the DSS, but I personally approached the the appropriate department to request for their release. Unfortunately, the effort still did not yet the desired result. As it stands now, the DSS can no longer continue to deny detaining the innocent civilians abducted from my ancestral home. This is now crystal clear and can no longer be contested. Because let me add this to my statement. One of my 2021, between Mr. Ifeanyi Ejiofor, my humble self, then Nigerian Police, the first respondent, the Inspector General of Police, the State Security Services, Director General of SSS, the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps, Nigerian Army, the Chief of Army Staff, and chukwuka oforegbu, aka Ijele Speaks. The judgment is here. I will also avail you of the soft copies and also the hard copies of the judgment, which is more decisive than even the statement I'm talking about, I'm holding. For the purpose of emphasis and clarity, we wish to respectfully reproduce the declarations and orders constituting the judgment of His Lordship as follows, to wit: 1. In the content of this declaration, I would like you to appreciate that when I refer to first respondent, second, third, fourth, fifth, and seventh, it means the Nigerian Police, the Nigerian DSS, then and also Nigerian Army. So, the declaration is made by the court that the brutal and violent invasion of my premises, that is the applicant, residence in Omunakwa Ifeanyi in Ekusigo local government area of Anambra State, on the 6th day of June 2021 at about 2:30 a.m. by the first respondent in this context, the police, the SSS, the Army, and the one chukwuka oforegbu, and their agent by shooting sporadically and indiscriminately into my home, that's the applicant home, which could have killed the applicant, and which ultimately resulted in the killing of the applicant personal assistant, that's my PA, and abduction of my domestic staff, is oppressive, and a gross violation of the applicant's right to life, that's my right, dignity of human person, fair hearing, right to private and family life, and peaceful assembly and association, guaranteed by 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended to 2011, and African Charter of Human and People's Rights, Ratification and Enforcement Act Cap 10, Law of Federation of Nigeria, 1990. 2. These are orders made by court. A declaration is made that the taking away and subsequent burning of applicant right to Toyota Camry car, which is my car, with registration number YAB60CB, together with the dead body of Mr. Samuel Okolo, that's my PA, and other vital documents and valuable bearing on the 6th day of June 2021 is illegal, oppressive, unlawful, and amount to gross violation of my fundamental right to property guaranteed by the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended 2011, and African Charter on Human and People's Rights, Ratification and Enforcement Act Cap 10, LFN 1990. 1. 3. An order of perpetual injunction is made by court, restraining the first, that's the police, the SSS, the military, and also the one chukwuka, the respondent, their agent previous, and householder called from further harassing, intimidating, threatening, or taking further steps in an attempt to terminate my life, that's African life, or destroying my properties, African properties. 4. An order of perpetual injunction is made by court, restraining the first, that's the police, the SSS, and the military, and their respondents, their agent previous and householder called from further harassing, intimidating, threatening to illegally arrest and torture the applicant, that's me. The 5th order. An order is made directing the first, that is the police, the SSS, the military, and its respondents, jointly and severally, to forthwith compensate the applicant, that is me, for the destroyed Toyota Camry car with registration number YAB60CB in the sum of 5 million naira, being the value of the purchase price. Because we attached the receipt of purchase of that Camry at the point during the hearing of the matter. Number 6. An order is made by court directing the first, that's the police, the second, third, fourth, sixth, and seventh, that's police, the military, and SSS, and 8 respondents to tender unreserved apology to the applicant, that's me, in 2 national dailies, that's the order of court. Then number 7, the sum of 100 million naira only is awarded to me, that's the applicant, against the Nigerian police, against the SSS, against the Nigerian military, and the 8 respondents, jointly and severally, as general and exemplary damages on compensation for applicant's violation of my fundamental right. Then 8, the sum of 2 million naira only awarded to me against the police, also against the police, against the military, against the SSS, and the 8 respondents, jointly and severally, as cause for filing and prosecuting the suit. This is the judgment of the court. Then the final order. An order is made by the court directing the first, that is Nigerian police, and also the IG, and also the SSS and the DGSSS, and the chief of army staff and the army staff, Nigerian army, and the 8 respondents, to identify all those officers you have seen here, you have seen on this clip, to identify them who participated in carrying out this dastardly act, and must be sanctioned or punished accordingly. That is the order of court. So for a better appreciation of the gravity of the heinous activities of these murderers, parading as security agents who have sold their conscience to the devil, it is compelling to reproduce the extract from the judgment of his lordship on his findings, which is contained on page 32 of the judgment of the erudite jurist of the judgment. The erudite jurist, that the judge stated as follows, and I quote, in the language of the court, I'm quoting the findings of the court, the way the court said it. And please, I will crave the audience to pay attention to this. The court said, and I quote, before I conclude, I wish to state that after watching the CCTV camera footage, which I believe should be the mode all of you are into now, which is exhibit A, I ran out of words to express my feelings to what I saw. I couldn't believe what I saw was done by human beings like us and the applicant. In the first place, there was nothing shown why the applicant's house was invaded. Even if he had committed murder, the respondent went too far by taking the law into their hands. The applicant or the occupants of the house and the neighbors on 6th day of June 2021 were traumatized psychologically, mentally, socially, and otherwise. Again, the PA lost his life out of overzealous officers act, who to my mind are not human beings. They are not supposed to be in the service and be given responsibilities. May the soul of the departed rest in perfect peace. No amount of compensation can bring him back to life. The loss or injury suffered cannot be healed forever. It is really very sad and unfortunate. This should be brought to book. And I close. That's quotation close. That's the language of the court. The condemnation the court has given to this Data's act in his findings. We cannot agree less. The trauma will unarguably live with us and the members of our entire family, including those of my PAs, my slim PAs, and uploaded staff for the rest of our lives. The CCTV footage, which you have just watched, is explicit and compelling. It is interesting to observe that the motive behind this bloody onslaught on my home is clearly to quietly terminate my life with those of anyone seen in my house, and thereafter carefully cover up every traces that will implicate the perpetrators. Otherwise, why would they destroy the CCTV camera at my entrance gate? Why would they murder someone in his sleep? A person who never resisted arrest, as you can see in the footage, and proceed to set his corpse ablaze, principally to cover up any trace. This happened in Nigeria of 21st century. Nobody is asking questions. Nobody has taken action. But it is clear at this point in time that the spirit of late Samuel Okolo, my PA, will continue to haunt every person who directly or indirectly participated in the murderous attack in my home. Our findings have since disclosed that one AIG, John Abang, who is still serving today as AIG in the Nigerian police force, was directly involved in the planning and execution of this act in my peaceful home. He was actively involved. I can confirm to the world. And police refused to. I've called him out severally, and police refused to investigate him. If at all they are failing ignorance of what happened in my house, they pretend to know what happened in my house. He commanded the entire operation from the comfort of his office in Abuja. Hence, we hereby challenge the Nigerian police force to investigate AIG John Abang, Abang telephone calls and messages between the 5th and 7th of June 2021. When that is done, I can tell you that they will confirm is the one that commanded of that later operation. He commanded it. He sent them after my life. Thank you. So, secondly, what are my domestic staff doing in the facility of SSS since June 2021 to date? Why have they refused to release the innocent staff? Is it to prevent them from narrating firsthand what they witnessed during the murderous attack in my home, or the ordeal they have suffered in the hands of these monsters? The identities of these monsters are known. They are known, and they must be fished out for appropriate punishment and sanction, as has ordered by His Lordship in His erudite judgment. We ask again, what offense did I commit? That the state is aggressively but clandestinely deploying her security agents to hunt me down at all costs by enemies, simply because I'm a lawyer who is effectively defending the law of IPOB, Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, and the IPOB worldwide in general. I have not recorded any defeat and loss in any of the IPOB cases I've handled since 2015 to date. I have not. For records, we have effectively kept the international community and responsible foreign government abreast of prejudice and persecution have been subjected to in the hands of the Nigerian state, for rendering my professional services to the leader of IPOB and IPOB, who have been persecuted by the Nigerian government for merely exercising their right to self-determination, externally provided for under our laws and relevant international covenants and instruments. Nevertheless, we seize this medium to call on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, retired General Muhammad Buhari, and the Attorney General of the Federation to prevail on the Director of SSS to immediately and unconditionally release my domestic staff, still being held illegally in their facility since June 6, 2021 to date, and consequently ensure immediate compliance with all the terms of the judgment already served on them. I will give you copies of the Nigerian government to immediately and unconditionally release Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB, who has been held in solitary confinement in the facility of SSS since 26th of July 2021 to date. It is to be noted, therefore, that this communication has been served on the federal government of Nigeria, and their compliance is expected, and they must comply with it. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen of the press, we especially invite the United Nations, European Union, the government of United States of America, United Kingdom, and other foreign governments and Amnesty International, who are all in receipt of our correspondences in respect to the foregoing subject, to prevail on the Nigerian government to ensure immediate compliance, obedience to the judgment of a court of competent jurisdiction delivered in this case, as well as the immediate implementation and justice, no matter whose us is God. All glory, honor, adoration, and praise will be given to his holy name. Amen. Thank you all for